Couple of clangers this past weekend over in the Championship as both Middlesbrough and Fulham lost to open up a bit of a rat's nest, of course, for the race for promotion and the playoffs. But what's going to happen this coming Easter weekend? We're going to take a little look at it. All of it next. To match day number, I think it's 42 over in the Championship, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and keep back to all things shit, Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under Warren Ruski, of course, the defeat by Fulham, of course, gives the likes of Bournemouth and, of course, maybe even Forest an outside sniff to maybe even oust Fulham at the top of the table. But realistically, I think Fulham are safe as houses as we build up for a very, very busy next few days, of course. But, of course, what about the race for the playoffs and, of course, the race to avoid the drop? We'll take a look at it, all of it in a minute. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, guys. Thank you for loving, of course, behind the scenes. You know who you are. But anyway, let's jump in the deep end, of course, and have a look at what went on last time around. Of course, look forward to, of course, this weekend's action. So here we go. All right, then, folks, let's kick it all back with, of course, recap the results from, of course, last weekend. Then starting with the shit show that is Blackburn Rovers. Of course, it's been absolute terrible 2022. Delete it, get rid of it. Absolute shit show, of course, after a fantastic back end of 2021. Rovers have gone, they're just unrecognisable from what we were pre-Boxing Day, and despite the fact that we've still got an outside sniff of top six, we've been diabolical, including this result against Blackpool. Taking the lead, of course, throwing it away instantly in the second half, 1-1 in the end. Meanwhile, Bristol City, of course, drew with Peterborough 1-1 in the end. Of course, Peterborough saw a man sent off. Fulham, surprise, got battered by Coventry City 3-1 in the end. What's that all about? Meanwhile, Borough, shock horror there, even though I think they had a goal ruled out, which really gave me a heart attack on the old watch line. 1-0 it was for Hull City, goodness gracious me, which really gave me some hope that we might still have a chance here. Realistically, it doesn't look like it, though. Millwall with a 4-1 win over Barnsley, big win for them. Meanwhile, of course, Reading with a 2-1 loss against Cardiff City. Huddersfield 2-0 win over Luton, watched that last night. Big win, of course, for Huddersfield Town. Forest, of course, 2-0 win over Birmingham City to, of course, make a push for top two. They are in it. Preston, of course, rubbing salt in the wounds for QPR. Keep a hold of Warburton for the time being anyway. Anyway, as of recording, of course, recording this on the 12th of April. We've got Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 0. Swansea 2-0 winners over Derby, and of course West Brom lost at home to Stoke City. Wow, that's of course the state of play there. What about, of course, the table looks just like this. Of course, Fulham are running away with their 83 points, of course, 10 points clear over Bournemouth, who have a game in hand, close it to maybe 7, of course. Then it's Huddersfield up there with Nottingham Forest, of course, 67 points for them, win for them in their game in hand. Actually, 2 games in hand over of Huddersfield. If they win with those 73 points, they could be on that as well. So we'll see how they pan out. Of course, Luton Town in 5th right now, Sheffield United in 6th, Rovers are in 7th, within striking distance of 5th, believe it or not. So who knows? Who fucking knows? Meanwhile, down the foot table, Peterborough are bottom, of course, but Derby also in a bit of trouble, and Barnsley as well. It looks like it is a nailed-on relegation trio at the moment, of course. But Barnsley do have a game in hand to maybe give it a little bit of hope for them over the likes of Reading, of course, who did have a points deduction at the start of the season. So remember about. So a quick change of outfit, of course. Let's get into the deep end. Of course, let's take a look at how you guys got on then, shall we? Here is, of course, the results of the Prediction League for the last weekend's matches. Of course, Shane O'Donnell and Deep at the Great, 6 points out of 6, out of whatever it was, 12 there. Well done to them, of course. Kicking us, taking names. Jacob Jackson, of course, up there with the rest of the chasing pack, with a whole host of us in 3rd place. What's that done to the overall mini leaderboard? Now, of course, the master leaderboard is bubbling behind the scenes, and of course, Shane O'Donnell kicking ass right here, right now, with 107 points, according to my mathematics. Of course, that's the state of play there. Of course, let's jump at the deep end, of course, and take a look at the next one matches. Before that, here is the link, Country 4/Championship. Now, the reason I, of course, changed outfits is, of course, I did record this already, but of course, I didn't press go with the microphone, so it's all quiet. So we have to go for it all again. So here we go. Let's kick it all forward, of course, with the next one matches. Kick it all off this Easter Friday, the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth up against Middlesbrough, coming at you, of course, at Bournemouth. 10 wins they played each other. These two sides, of course, since 2013. 4 wins for Bournemouth, 2 wins for Middlesbrough, and 4 draws, of course. Just 1 defeat in the past 6 games for Bournemouth right now. 67% form for them heading into this game up against the Middlesbrough side. Just 1 win in the last 4 42% form for them heading into this, of course. Last time at Bournemouth, it was a 3-1 win for Bournemouth. That's back in, of course, April 2021. The reverse fixture at Borough, of course, back at the Riverside was, of course, back in December. It was a 1-0 win for Middlesbrough as well. The away side hasn't won this game in the last, I don't know, the last 10 years, goodness gracious me. So if you're at home, you're going to be favoured to win this game. Of course, Bournemouth, though, picking up back-to-back clean sheets and back-to-back goalless affair for them. They did lose to Bournemouth 2-0, of course, without scoring, of course, losing to Sheffield United on the road as well. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough back-to-back games as well without scoring a goal. This could be a bit of a damp squib here. It could end up being all square 0-0 in the end. The odds, though, 2019 is your Bournemouth. They are, of course, favoured for this one. 5-2 is draw, and 40-5 is your long shots, of course. I'm backing Borough to win this one, not. 2-1 win in the end for Bournemouth to take the 3 points, get the win, and, of course, maintain top 2 status for another weekend. Kicking off forward is Birmingham up against Coventry City, of course, taking place over at St Andrews. Of course, last season they were sharing this ground, but, of course, this time it's, of course, on your own back now. Of course, now these two sides played each other on the 15th of April, played each other 15 times in 2001, 6 wins for Birmingham, 3 for Coventry, and 6 draws as well. Birmingham, though, 50% form for them. 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6 up against Coventry City side. Also 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6, 50% form heading into this game. Last time around, over at St Andrews, of course, in favour of Birmingham, was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, January 2021. The reverse fixture at the Rico back in November was a 0-0 draw as well. In fact, 4 of the last 5 have ended up all square on this one, with Birmingham winning the only game. That's, of course, back in February 2020 in the FA Cup. Meanwhile, Forest did beat Birmingham last time, 2-0 loss for that one. Of course, Coventry back on the back of a 3-1 win over Fulham at Craven Cottage. Monster win for them heading into this game. 2-1 is your Birmingham on the odds on here. 5-2 is draw, and 30-10 is your Coventry City for this. Back, of course, a Birmingham win here. 1-0 win for them. Denting, of course, Coventry's hot and cold season as, of course, they filter out at the back end of the campaign. Meanwhile, Derby up against Fulham, of course, down at Pride Park. It's a late kick off this one on Easter Friday. Of course, played each other 20 times 2001. 5 wins to Derby, 6 wins to Fulham, and 9 draws, of course. Derby, though, 42% form heading into this. Just 1 win and 5 for them, 42% form. Up against the Fulham side, also 2 wins, 2 defeats in the past 4 games. 58% form for Fulham as we enter the business end of the campaign. Last time around, though, at Pride Park, it was a 1-1 draw. The reverse fixture, also a 0-0 draw at Craven Cottage back in, of course, November as well. Meanwhile, Derby with a 2-1 loss against Swansea, of course. Fulham with a 3-1 loss against Coventry, of course. Have the wheels come off Fulham's campaign at the right at the death? We'll see about that. 5-1 is your Derby, of course. 3-1 is your draw, and 20-11 on is your Fulham. They are red hot favourites for this one, but I'm going to go with a draw here. 2-2 in the end. Point split right down the middle. I think Derby are going to be much more happier than, of course, Fulham at this stage. Meanwhile, Huddersfield Town up against QPR, of course. Warburton still hanging on by the skin of his teeth to the bitter end, of course. Played each other 22 times in 1996, 8 wins apiece and 6 draws. Of course, Huddersfield are coming to 42% form for them, winning back-to-back games, of course, up against the QPR side, with losing 5 in the bounce. 17% form for them at the moment. Of course, last time around the John Smith's Kirklees McAlpine Stadium was a 2-0 win for Huddersfield back in, of course, December 2020. The reverse fixture at QPR was a 1-0 win at Loftus Road back in, of course, November. QPR did lose to Preston last time around, also losing to Sheffield United. Oh, goodness gracious me. And they've just scored 1 goal in the last 3 games. Meanwhile, of course, Huddersfield back-to-back clean sheets, so then back-to-back wins as well heading into this game. The odds, though, 21-20 is your Huddersfield, 12-5 is your, and 11-4 is your away win. That's QPR. Back, of course, the Terrors here with a 2-1 win for them to take to the house, and a big 3 points for them on this one. Hull City up against Cardiff, of course, at the K-Com. If the season was an extra month longer, these probably could be in a relegation scrap, but of course they look safe as houses right now, of course, at the K-Com coming at you this weekend. Played the 21 times 2005, 9 wins for Hull, 8 wins for Cardiff City, and 4 draws, of course. Hull City 42% form for them, winning 2 of the last 4 games up against the Cardiff City side, who've kicked into gear under Steve Morrison. 75% form for them, just 1 defeat in the last 6 games. Meanwhile, of course, over the K-Com last time around was a 2-2 draw back in September 2019. The reverse fixture in Wales back in the course of November was a 1-0 win for Hull way back when. Hull picking up a 1-0 win over Middlesbrough last time around, of course. Cardiff with a 2-1 win over Reading at the Matchday last time around. The odds for this one, 64 is your Hull, 9-5 is your Cardiff, and 9-4 is your draw. Could go either way. Going to back a Hull City win here, 1-0 win for them. Hull City taking the L on this one. Then next, of course, we have a bit of a playoff crunch clash. Of course, it is Luton Town up against Nottingham Forest at Kenilworth Road. Big win for Luton, who, of course, put a bit of cat amongst the pigeons, of course, heading into this game. Played each other 10 times since 1993. 3 wins Luton, 5 wins Forest, and 2 draws as well. Luton, though, of course, 50% form for them. 1-2 lost to and draw 2 over the last 6. Up against the Forest side, of course, 83% form, winning 5 of the last 6. Of course, looking very, very good at the moment. Of course, last time around, though, at Kenilworth Road, it was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, October 2020. The reverse fixture at the City Ground was, of course, a 0-0 draw as well. In fact, Luton Town unbeaten against Luton over the last 3 games, picking up 2 draws and a win to boot. Meanwhile, Forest coming to this on the back of that 2-0 win over Birmingham, back-to-back clean sheets for them, scoring 8 goals with 1 goal conceded up against the Luton Town side, of course, without a win now in, I don't know, 3 games. Goodness gracious me, 3 games without a win for them. Heading into this one, though, looking at the odds, we have Luton Town 77-23-10 is your draw, 31-2 20 is your away win. That is Nottingham Forest. I'm backing, of course, Forest to win this one on the road. That's no dig on Luton Town. Of course, Forest are good, and I think they're actually going to squeak in the top 2 if they can get their shit together, and of course a little bit of luck going elsewhere. Meanwhile, of course, this is the game of the day. It is Peterborough up against Blackburn Rovers, and I tell you right here now, spoiler alert, I am not doing a watch long for this game. We're going to be in Canada, so it's going to be quite difficult for us to do so, and I just think I'm a bit of a jinx at the moment for Rovers, so I'm thinking if I don't do a watch long, they'll probably win. So if they do win, I will not be back for Monday either, so put it like that. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, really. Of course, no Dirk, well, Rovers win. That's what we're hoping for. Anyway, of course, and again, I'm very, very busy in Canada, and it's going to be quite difficult to do things on the fly, just like that. Anyway, of course, Peterborough coming into this on the back of just one win in 6, 42% form up against the Rovers side. Also 1 win in 6, 42% form as well. If you want to look at it a different way, it might make you smile a little bit better. It's just 1 defeat last 4 for Peterborough, 1 defeat the last 4 for Rovers heading into this game. Last time around, though, over at Peterborough, was a 3-2 win for Rovers back in, of course, December 2017. That was in League 1. The reverse fixture, 4-0 win it was for Blackburn Rovers back in, of course, November. Rovers picking up a 1-1 draw against Blackpool. Peterborough picking up a 1-1 draw against Bristol City last time around. The odds, though, for this one are actually a favour of Rovers. Of course, 50-4 is your Peterborough, 5-2 is your 4-3 on is your Rovers. Even though we've been absolute shit, I'm still going with Rovers with 1 win. And again, I won't be there to see it, even though I might see it, but I won't tell you that I'm seeing it, if you know what I mean. Next up, of course, we have Preston North End up against Millwall down at Deepdale. Of course, I just need a break. That's all. Of course, Preston coming into this on the back of 58% form, winning back-to-back games for them up against the Mill side. Of course, 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 of the last 6. Now these two sides played each other 22 times. So 7 wins to North End, 10 wins for, of course, Millwall, and 5 draws as well. Of course, the last time around over at Deepdale was a 2-0 win for Millwall. That's back in October 2020. The reverse fixture down at the Den was a 0-0 draw as well. Actually, in fact, Millwall unbeaten against Preston over the last 5 games, picking up 4 wins and a draw to boot. Meanwhile, of course, Preston picking up 2-1 win over QPR. Millwall with a 4-1 win over Barnsley last time around. The odds, though, for this one, we have Preston coming out at 11-8 for the actually 21-10 is your Millwall, and 21-10 is also your draw. When you look at that, you should back, of course, Millwall, but I'm backing, of course, North End with a 2-0 win for them at home to end the season strongly, and of course, Low at the helm. Meanwhile, of course, Sheffield United up against Reading, of course, down at Bramall Lane. Of course, as much as I want a Majewski win, or a Reading win, should I say, of course, it's probably going to be backing Hackingbottom's boys. Now, these two sides played 32 times in 1994, 15 wins to Sheffield United, 12 was Reading, and 5 draws. Of course, just 1 win. 1 defeat at the past 5 for Sheffield United. Of course, 50% form, 1-2 lost to and drawn 2. Up against the Reading side, also 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 over the last 6. Last time around, though, over at Bramall Lane was a 4-0 win for Sheffield United. Of course, last time I played Majewski was a 1-0 win for Sheffield United back in November. Meanwhile, Reading picking up a 2-1 loss against Cardiff. Of course, Sheffield United with a 0-0 draw against Bournemouth. Back-to-back clean sheets for them heading into this game, though the bookies' odds for this one, 20-11 on is your Sheffield United, 3-1 is your draw, and 5-1 is your long shots. That is Reading on this one. Back, of course, the Bays here with the 2-1 for them to take it to the house. Next, of course, we have Stoke City, of course. Oh, gosh, I've got to go deep on this one. Up against, of course, Bristol City. Of course, at the bet 365. Now, these two sides, according to my eyes, play each other around about 14 times in 1984. 5 wins to Stoke, 7 wins to Bristol City, and 2 draws, of course. Just 1 defeat past 4 for Stoke right now, 58% form up against the Bristol City side. Just 1 defeat. 1 win in the last 6 for them, 33% form heading into this game. Last round, though, at the bet 365, it was a 2-0 win for Bristol City back in September 2020. The reverse fixture down at Thrashton Gate was a 1-0 for Bristol City back in November. Of course, Stoke picked up a 3-1 over West Brom. Of course, Bristol City with a draw against Peterborough last time around, but the odds back, of course, Stoke for this one. Back at, of course, a 2-0 win for Stoke to take it to the house on this one. Next, of course, we have Swansea City up against Barnsley. Let's get the deep end on this one down in Wales. Now, these two sides, of course, play each other 18 times, 5, 10 wins for Swansea, 1 for Barnsley, and 7 draws. Just 1 defeat past 6 for Swansea right now, 75% form. Up against the Barnsley side, just 1 win and 6 for them, 45% form heading into this game. Last time around, of course, over in Wales, it was a 1-1 draw. It was in the Championship playoffs, of course. That was back in May 2021. The reverse fixture at Oka was a 2-0 win for Swansea back in November. That was under a different manager, I'm sure. 4-1 loss for Barnsley last time around against Millwall. Of course, Swansea with a 2-1 win over Derby, and of course, looking very good. 3 wins on the bounce for them, and just 1 goal conceded in those last 3 games. Meanwhile, of course, the odds here, we have 6-4 on is just Swansea, 11-4 is your draw, 4-1 is your away win on this one. Back, of course, Swansea to take the win, and of course, 3 points as well. And then finally, wrapping up, and of course, it is West Brom against Blackpool at the Hawthorns, coming at you, of course, on the 15th of April. 8 times they played each other since 2007, 5 wins for the Baggies, 2 for the Tangerines, and 1 draw, of course. 50% form for West Brom right now, 1-2 lost to and drawn 2. Up against the Blackpool side, also 1-2 lost to and drawn 2, 50% form, however, without a win in the last 4. Coming at you, though, last time out at the Baggies, of course, the Hawthorns 3-2 win it was for West Brom, back in, of course, January 2011 in the Premier League, might I add. Meanwhile, the reverse fixture at Bloomfield Road was a 0-0 draw back in November this campaign. Of course, Blackpool picking up a draw against Rovers last time around, West Brom with a 3-1 loss against Stoke. But the odds for this one then, shall we have a look at it? It is 11-8 on is your West Brom, 11-4 is your draw, 15-4 4 is your away win. That's, of course, Blackpool on this. Back in, of course, the Baggies here with a 2-1 win for them to keep their hopes alive for whatever is left on the agenda. And, of course, if you want to get the picks, then use the link, /championship. And that is just about that. Smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Of course, we'll be back, of course, for Monday's games. Of course, catch the video maybe on Saturday or Sunday, depending on how quick I am on the turnaround. But until then, guys, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Until then, boys, we're done for now.